Hello everyone, Tony from Hearns, back again with I think number 5 in the Yakomo SO buggy build. This is where we left it at last time. Starting to look very much like a completed car. Now, we've done the front end last time. I'm about to do the rear hubs with the universals and the drive shafts. That should be a relatively simple one to get going. Where are we at? Bag number 10. Okay. We'll put this here for the moment. Let's start putting the hubs together. Once we've done this, all we've really got left is the turnbuckles, which I know you're looking forward to as much as I am, but I've got a bit of a surprise for you on that one. And we've also got the shocks. I'm going to say I'm looking forward to this. I haven't built a set of Yakomo shocks, so I don't know what they're like. Now, these are the very latest version. They're 13mm bore. The last lot were 12mm, so they're just that little bit bigger. And just looking at them, they're huge. They are massive shocks. But Brett has assured me that Yakomo shocks are amongst the best to build, and they work really well. We'll find out. Let's get on to the rear hubs. I'll bring this down here a little bit. This is where we're at. Looking at the rear hub carrier, they look pretty much the same. Tiny little mark just down here. Right hand side, this one will say L. It doesn't. Yes, it does. I was looking in the wrong place. In the space of 10 seconds, I forgot where the mark was. Left hand side first. It's quite a complicated little one. Now, down here, in the bottom of the rear hub, there is an insert. This insert, as specified by that, allows you to raise or lower the position of the pin. Now, the default is in the middle, which is a 0.5. The 0.5s are over here, and there's still there's a little nib on the bottom of this. You won't be able to see it on the camera. That goes to the bottom. I'm going to push that in, and I'll do the other one at the same time. These just slide in. It's just an easy press fit. Okay. M3x6 screws. M3x6 button head, I think. Not the M3x6 washer, M3x12 button head screw. It's in bag number 7. I've noticed a fair bit of chat about the way Yakomo do the screws on the comments on the YouTube videos. A lot of people are quite used to it and like it. Some people aren't sure. For me, it works. M3x6 washer, that's here. Got a couple over here. That's the hub carrier spacer, that's not what I want. M3x6 washer is in bag number 15. Whoops. Got tangled up in the Tamiya strawberry jam. Let's just put that on here. These just go in like that. Just going to do what I do on everything else, just screw that. I know that this holds on the link mount here, so I'm just going to screw this through to the point where I can just feel it about to come through on the other side. That's it. I'll do the same again here. One. Need a couple more of these. Not sure how many more kits we're going to sell just because people have watched this video. We might even sell less, but if it's helped someone out when they're assembling it, well worth it. Plus, I think it's important for me to get used to the Yakomo brand. I think I've said in the past, I've only ever built one Yakomo kit, a YZ4, back quite a few years ago. I don't remember much about it. I think Scotty Pettit, I think you might have bought that one off me. Someone did. Never got to run it in earnest. Okay, we're on to the upper link mounts. I don't think these are handed. If I have a look at them, they look exactly the same. I think the way to tell which way is up is you got the nice little machine section there. You don't have it underneath. So I'll put that there. Line it up. That one done. The other. I have been reading the comments that quite a few of you have been putting onto the YouTube videos here. Quite amusing. I've always wondered what it was like for people to watch it. I've never watched one of these all the way through, either mine or anyone else's. I know someone's said that it was like watching an ASMR video, which they said that it was quite relaxing and therapeutic. I've never thought of myself as like that, but whatever works for you, hopefully I can provide something that's worthwhile for you. Okay, done this one. We now need a ball stud to go in the top. Which is a 6mm ball stud, which I'm thinking is this one here. And there's a 1mm aluminium spacer, which is a black one. We've got that over here. And it goes in the outer hole. Another 6mm ball stud. Black spacer. Okay, that's done. Let's get some bearings in. Two, three, four. Now, universals are going in next. Now, you'll probably go, yay, these are pre-assembled. And that's a good thing, I agree. Now, normally I would still pull these apart. There is no lube in there at all, nothing.
What's going on in here?
I'm just about to get some lube out.
Are you? I've come just at the right time
Just at the right time, because while I like the fact that these are assembled, there's no lube in there. I'm just going to put a little bit in without pulling
them.
them.
Do they come pre-assembled, do they?
Well, either that or the garden gnomes assembled them. Well, I don't know about Mr. Putnam, whether he may have assembled something for me.
What do you use in your drive shafts?
Well, I'm going to put that one in.
Yep.
Because it's on the table.
Yep. Absolutely.
At home, I use Tamiya AW grease because I've got so much of it from various... No, that's the strawberry jam.
AG. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
That's the strawberry jam.
Yep.
But I'm just going to get... Just put it, without pulling them apart, just put a little bit in there because I think it's well worth.
Pack it in there and wipe it off, right? And it's really critical, actually, that after you run these buggies, that you actually strip them and rebuild them. Because when you let the grease does sort of attract a little bit of dirt.
Yeah, that's the bit I don't like. So I don't actually pack them as much as what you do. I just put a little bit in.
Yeah. I usually just like sort of pack them and then wipe off all I can with a cloth.
Yep.
And then that's it. And then you don't touch it during a race day. Don't throw compressed air in there or anything like that because you just blow all the dirt in.
I'm not a big fan of using compressed air to clean buggies at all. I do not do it.
Even on an on-road car, I'll just do it from a distance, right? Just to get the tyre fluff off.
Yeah, but that's about it. But this whole practice of going
into everything,
1,000 PSI, I don't think that's a good idea.
In the thrust bearings, everything. In the diff, everything.
Yeah, I think it's a horrible idea.
There you go.
So,
all right.
So you've come in at the lube stage, not unusual.
How'd you go with the... Oh, he's got the shocks out.
I've already got some... I haven't said yet. That,
all right.
I'm sure some eagle-eyed people have said, that bastard has already done 3 shocks.
Well, and the turnbuckles.
And the turnbuckles, because they don't want to see me do that on camera.
It's not very fun, is it?
And BJ has told me that that's what you do for the assembly videos. You pre-assemble them.
I do a bit of pre-assembly.
Yeah.
Make it more entertaining.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
They'll see me fumble their way through 1 shock. They don't want to see me do it on 4.
On 4 of them, that's right.
On 4 of them.
As you were.
So I'll lube away.
Thank you, TFJ.
Go and talk to some customers if there are any. Anyway, yes, Brett likes to pack it in here. I don't. I'm just going to put some in. Because I don't think running it dry is a good idea. Just going to wiggle it around a bit like that, just enough to get it to coat, and then I'm going to wipe the excess off. So there's enough there to keep it lubed. I'll do the same on the other one. I'm a bit mystified as to why they actually pre-assemble these. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful. But it just seems strange that out of all the bits, they opt to pre-assemble that. wipe that off the hobby knife. I'm sure Brett will come in and annoy me again later. Okay, done. So, let's put that in here. Now there's 2 5x5 shims, which I think are these little buggers. If you're concerned that you've got the right ones, if you haven't already at this stage of the build got your verniers out, then you can. Now is the time to check. I can tell that these are 0.5mm, but you need to have a set of verniers with you when you're doing a build. These are just cheap ones, but they do the job. So we've got the 2 shims, a 5x10 bearing, because there's a big one and a small one in this rear hub. That goes through. That's a nice fit. There's a collar. And then the big bearing. These fit in really nicely. It's not a struggle to put them in, but they're not loose. That's great. I'm happy with that. Got hex drives now. And the pin. There's the pin. As usual, I've pushed in, it's always just not quite right. Not quite sure. Doesn't help that I had the hex around the wrong way. That's better. Done. That's good. It's interesting the technology on this hasn't changed for, I don't know how long. They've just had the simple pin with the hex. I mean, that's pretty much as long as I can remember. The only thing I remember the Hot Shots had a different thing with the little triangular plate. I can't remember when everybody changed to this, but now it's just the default, and it's simple and it works, and there's no reason to change it, so it's a great idea. Now we want an M2.5 socket head screw, bag 10. Oh, I haven't opened that one. Let's get 2 of them out. Need a little bit of Tamiya strawberry jam. The locking hex drives are a good thing, because it means when you pull your wheel off, the hex drive doesn't come with it. That one's done. Onto the right hand side, the 2.5mm shims, the small bearing, push that through, cross collar, big bearing, the pin, and then the hex. I should note once again that I was going to bring my glasses in today to make it easier for me to see what I was doing. Once again, sitting at home on the table. Turn that round, done. Okay, doesn't hurt to check to make sure it rotates nicely. Yep, that's all good. Let's move this out of the way because it's time to bring the chassis in. This is exciting, it's getting close. I think by the end of this session we'll have pretty much a complete car. Okay, let's put that in there. Turn that upside down. Move that forward. It's a rear outer suspension arm pin. I guess it's this one. I am happy that there's only one choice of holes on the hub. The insert takes care of that. So that's where it is, and that's where it's staying, just that one position. Push this through, it's not too bad. Ah.
I'm back again.
You are?
I just like getting this close to you.
I know.
I just use it under the guise of talking into your microphone.
Yeah, I know. Would you like me to turn it off?
What are you up to now?
Oh, look, I've got the hubs on.
No, you need to put a turnbuckle in to hold it all together.
What, like these ones I prepared earlier
Right.
that say rear upper links.
All of these turnbuckles, they're super smooth.
Yep.
And I like that they've got the little retainer on them.
Oh, it's great.
Hey, no more E-clips. Wasn't that a devil of the buggies in the past?
And you were good this morning because you got all the tools out for me.
Yes, what are you missing?
Yeah, but there weren't any nippers.
There weren't any nippers?
Nippers, and I had to go off.
Mad dash.
Go off camera, and I apologised to the people and said I'm sorry for this, but you know that's how it was.
Oh, it's the magic of Hollywood, mate. We can edit that.
No, we're going to leave it in. I like it raw.
All right.
I like it raw.
Raw dogging the TFJ.
Oh, raw dog. Apparently, raw dogging is a thing on long haul flights now.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently, I've just read about it. It's the act of going through without doing anything else, not watching any entertainment, not getting any food or anything.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a badge of honour if you can do that. I'm thinking it's. I think it
sounds like fun to me.
No, yeah, there's a lot of things I don't want to do for 6 hours plus, but
at least I drink on their card, right?
I don't know, but apparently that's a thing. I read about this yesterday. Raw dogging it on flights. I think it's an indication that you're an idiot, but I could be wrong. But nevertheless, it's all right.
How's your hinge pin?
My hinge pin. It was fine at first, but
now I've gotten away into.
Now, yeah.
I will leave you with it then, because you were probably doing it just fine without me.
No, I'm going to see if this will do the job, because that might just squeeze it in nicely.
That's a nice.
And it did. Look at that.
That's a good little trick.
That's a fine little trick. Yeah, amazing. How good are they? I'm trying to be professional here because you're here.
No, that's right.
And there's someone else watching as well, but I won't mention Ross Amplett's name. He's lucky. Do you like those?
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
They're not bad at all.
I just mentioned to people you've got to have a set ready to go.
Yeah.
At all times.
You do.
Yeah. So they're my replacement ones for the ones that got stolen out of my car. So that's all right. All right, got that one in.
How is your tranny?
Oh, doing fine, thanks. Oh dear.
Referring to your transit van.
My transit van, it's a fine thing. I like the fact that I pushed that all the way through and forgot to put the spaces in because I was talking to you and Ross. I'll be
so you little 1.5 mil.
Yeah.
Gets through that little hole there.
And notice how I'm moving my hand away because I'm going to.
You shouldn't stab yourself because he's got a little stopper there for the hinge pin. Yeah. You don't want to spread that open if you can avoid it because the hinge pin will fall out that end then.
Yeah. No, we're good. There it is. This is always a cursed thing. Trying to get them to stay there while you push the pin through. If anyone knows an easy way to do this, I'll be grateful to hear it because I suspect it's going to be much yelling and screaming from me because I think most of you have tried to do this. and failed. See, they've already gone through. Just going to push it through so that it just protrudes a little bit on the other side. And of course a little bit translates to all the way. Just that's better. This is going to keep falling through again and again. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be going, oh, you stupid idiot, you should do this and this and this. Just need to move that up a little bit and we should be okay. Sure, this is exciting for everyone, but it's not for me. There we go. One in. Let's do the other one. Okay, we just need to pull that back a tiny bit. You're going to watch me struggle with these again. Oh, nicely caught by my fat guts there. I'm going to try this way. Hopefully I'll get the spaces over the top of the pin. Pretty close. Through. Okay, that bit wasn't fun, but we're good. Now, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Well, first off, M2x4 button head screws to hold the pin in, and the M2x4 button heads are in bag number 9. Whatever you do, don't crank these up too much. They're not made to take a whole heap of torque. You just need to snug them up, not really tight. what happens here is the head of this screw just goes slightly over the pin. Make sure it doesn't come out. Okay, that's done. Now, I said a minute ago that I was going to cheat on something, because I don't want these flopping around while I'm doing other things. Now, as it happens, the turnbuckle assembly is coming up soon. We all hate turnbuckles. Anyone that says they like doing turnbuckles is crazy. So you don't want to watch me building all the turnbuckles on camera. It takes forever. So I cheated and put them together at home. These are the rear upper links. They're ready to go. And instead of waiting until the instructions say put these together, I'm actually going to do them now, because we've buttoned up everything else here, so it's good. I'll just skip ahead a page or two to make sure I'm doing them right. That's the shocks. Where are the upper links? There and there, so that's fine. Yep, we're good. Just gonna, whoa. Just need to turn this one around a bit. Ah, here's where I'll introduce the YOKOMO factory tool. This is actually for the ball links. And it'll fit into a Tamiya spanner or any other one. Go in there and use it to turn it around. I don't need to stand up to get this bugger on. Snap that on. And this one's a bit more reluctant. Now, go around, turn this one so that they're equal. There we go. These are pretty tight fitting turnbuckles, I can tell you now. Make sure the drive shaft's in. Nothing worse than putting the whole thing on and then discovering you've got to take it off to put the drive shaft in. One. You're going to see me bust a foofer valve in a minute. Man. Well, I have to say, they're a very tight fit, but they're really smooth. That's great. Back end of that is looking good. Looking very good. Now, the next page is the turnbuckles. And as I just said to you, they've all been pre-assembled. Here they are. Steering links, front upper links. They're all good. Now, what I'm going to do is show you a little trick that I use on turnbuckles. Although I've already pre-assembled these, but I'm going to use the steering link one to illustrate it. What I do, and I got this from one of the major American racers, I can't remember who it was, but watching an assembly video that he did, it may have been Adam Drake. He uses a chapstick to lubricate the actual link. Now, this is just a short one, but this is all I do. I use a cheap ass chapstick, and it comes off. It provides just a little bit of lubrication. I'll get the special Yakomo ball end tool, and it just makes it that little bit easier, and it's not messy, which is, I think, an important thing. You can use other stuff, but that tends to be a bit messy. This works really good. Wouldn't recommend using it on your mouth afterwards, but for this, it's great. And you can get it in different flavors if that's what you like. So, put that there. This is the link from the servo horn to the steering. So it's only a little one, and it has to be buttoned up all the way. Problem is, I've only got one of the Yakomo tools, so I have to do this the old-fashioned way. Or like this. Everyone's got their own way of doing turnbuckles. We all hate it, but we just have to live with it. So there's my tip. That's what I use on the turnbuckles, on the links. Just makes it a little bit easier. So that's good. We'll put that aside for later. Let's come back to here again. Now we've got all the turnbuckles done. Now, these are the steering links. I'm actually not going to put these on right now, because I need to pull the servo out to center it and everything, so there's going to be a bit of disassembly here before I can finally finish the car. So I'm just going to leave those off for now. I will, however, put the front upper links on. Now, the other important thing, well, I think it's important anyway, even though you hate doing these, do them and set them up with your verniers. Yakomo have given you the dimensions to start with, so set them up, have them ready to go, so at least you're in a decent position to start with. Now, you need, I suspect that these ball ends should already have been installed at some earlier stage, and I have forgotten them. So we need to put them in, and they go in a hole here. Don't know how I forgot them. Probably some stage when Brett wandered in during the filming. Ooh. I went, oh, like that, because it got hot going through there, and okay, this needs to be turned. Let's go there and there, that's not it. On. I haven't used these before. I'm assured that they're the way to go. However, getting them in the right position to snap this on. That one on. This one's a bit easier. Now this side. And the other. Oh, the ball end. Oh, the ball stud, sorry. Oh. Doesn't have, all the manufacturers give them different names. That's ready to go. Let's see if I can make a better fist of this one. That's better. That is looking good. That is looking, look at that. Quite happy with that. Now, let's just put this aside. Shocks are next. As I said before, I haven't built Yakomo shocks before. Now, I could say, oh, I'm really looking forward to this, but I've cheated because I've already got 3 done. I did these at home yesterday because, like the turnbuckles, you don't want to see me sitting here building 4 shocks. It's boring enough having to watch me as it is, but 4 shocks, no. So we've got 1 shock to build. Got all the bits here. Now, inside here, in the adjusting nut, you have to put a rubber O-ring, one of these buggers. I've already done that because to put it in there and then wind it up, there's such a fine thread, it takes forever. It makes for boring viewing, so I already did it. We also need to put one on here. And another one up the top. Alright, so the shock body is basically ready to go. Now, as a rule, I will always build a car according to the factory setup. Now there's oil included in this, 400 oil for the front and 500 for the rear. We'll double check that I'm not talking crap.
What's going on this time?
I'm just about to explain to people where I went wrong yesterday.
Let me
I don't want you're sneaking around underneath there.
That's why I'm coming here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm about to
muscle in.
I'm about to explain.
What are you explaining there?
I'm explaining now that that when filling the shocks up yesterday, I grabbed what I thought was the 500 weight oil and filled the shock body up with 500 weight oil.
Seemingly 500 weight oil.
Which took quite some time. It took quite a while, and I thought, gee, there must be a little nozzle or something. And then I'm pumping the shock up and down and going, that's not good. That's because in the kit there's 500 and there's 5,000.
5,000 weight.
And you can guess what I'd put in, the 5,000 weight. So I slowly drained that out of the shock and put it back in there, never to be seen again. 500 is a fine thing. It went in much better. Much, much better. So that's good.
What's your technique for building shocks? Is that what we're doing now? You're doing one shock?
I'm going to do 1 shock.
Isn't it beautiful anodizing? Have you talked about the anodizing?
I haven't talked about the anodizing, but it is very, very nice.
It's very nice, isn't it?
So I'm just getting out all the little bits and pieces here that I need.
But I've come in at the lube again. I've come in right at the lube.
Yeah.
I've got an uncanny knack for that.
You have. You have.
Have I got a good tool?
I've heard that.
If I can find where Nan put it. Nan, where'd you put it?
What are you talking about?
The 9 steps gizmo. Because the 9 steps gizmo TFG, because I don't like to put sharp metal objects near my O-rings, or in this case X-rings.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah, they are X-rings. I think that's an important thing. Instead of just your normal rubber O-ring or silicon O-ring, these are an X-ring, so that the actual contact surface with the outside is much less.
First time I ever heard of an X-ring was actually motorbike chains.
Yeah?
They went for low resistance, yeah. Motorbike chains, the good quality ones,
Okay.
have X-rings.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
So, this is all pretty simple. It's all pretty simple. I don't know what you do. Actually, I do, because I've seen you build a number of shocks.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually flip it around in the grease.
I don't. I just, because I don't put quite as much in as you do. And I don't have here the little tiny screwdriver that I use at home to lube this up.
What do you need? Well, that's why I use a gizmo.
Yeah. That's all right.
Which I've misplaced for you.
You've misplaced your gizmo.
Do you want me to use my finger?
No, I'm happy to do that.
You happy to get a bit of dirty...
Yep.
It's not the first time you've had the finger in the lube today, is it?
No.
So you put the X-ring in.
X-ring in.
You put the guide in.
Then the guide.
Then another X-ring.
Then another X-ring.
Then another guide. Is that right?
Yeah. That's enough goop in there.
And it's a little guide with a hat.
Now I'm going to...
Do your reach across.
I've got to do the reach across. Then the little guide.
Get out of the way before you put your bat wings in there.
So we're good with that. That's all right. And the shock cap. The bottom cap anyway. We'll slide that on. Remember, there's a rubber O-ring here.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that up incredibly tight.
Well, I usually seat it and then undo it, just to make sure there's no preload on the O-rings when I'm putting the threads through the X-rings. Avoid any tearage.
I just do that up finger tight.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
All it done.
They're good. But so now the piston. That can go on there.
And do you notice how they're laser etched?
They're very, very nice.
Or also inked, so you can read them.
And there's two different sets. A different ones for the front and for the rear.
And then the front one you're doing now, that's a 1.6 hole
This is
piston.
a rear.
And it's too thick. That's a rear one. 1.6 hole piston and
And
2 mil.
as you and I discussed earlier, a bit of thread lock on this one does not go astray. You do not want this coming apart.
Oh, you're using a Tamiya one.
I'm using the Tamiya one.
Because it's only a really small thread, that screw. And you can't wrench on it because you just snap it.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to come loose because the piston will come off in the shock and it's embarrassing if nothing else.
Yes. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Happened to my son not so long ago.
We need to do a bit of lubage on this.
In the thread?
Yeah, on the thread.
Get it done?
Look at that. Lube Daz.
And you just feed it through.
Just feed it through. From my experience with these yesterday, it was just
butter smooth.
Absolute butter. Now we'll be wanting to do that. Now, I don't know what you do. What I do now is wobble that a bit, just to make sure everything's centered.
Everything's centered and seated.
And that is beautiful.
We usually let you do 4 at once, so I usually go as far as adjusting the preload at this point on the O-rings to make sure they're all sort of like matched.
Yeah.
By feel. It's not really a scientific measurement.
No.
But you can, by the amount of preload that you put on the bottom cap.
And then what you do is pull it out because you forgot to put the inner spacer in.
Oh, you've got to put the droop spacer in.
Yes. Even though it's tiny, I don't think it's really going to make a whole lot of difference. But anyway.
And that's just a tuning option to, in fact, limit the down travel or the droop.
Yeah. See, I prefer the other way. I don't like to limit the droop.
You don't like to limit the droop?
Oh, well, actually I do.
I don't like it droopy at all.
No, yeah.
I like it on point.
When you're 67, things will
Gravity takes over.
Oh, it does indeed. It does indeed.
Don't even know what you're doing next.
This is a fine. Who makes these?
These are JPRCs,
Okay.
MFTs, multi-function tool.
Ah.
Really good for popping on ball joints, shock caps, and it's not the first time we've used it in one of our builds.
No, but I was just saying before that it's the first time I've actually used it.
Yeah. It's a really
Now,
good little bit of kit.
I've already pre-prepared this. I stuck this on at home.
Yep.
So that we're good. Let's just
Get in there.
get that bugger in there.
And pinch it the bugger in.
Yeah, it does.
You don't have to start slipping and galling.
Mm.
But yeah, soft jaw pliers are really the best way forward.
These are great. Ah,
Lots of grip.
I could in fact use the special Yakomo tool for this, couldn't I?
I'm not sure. Does that go on there?
I'm not actually sure that. No, it won't with the book. No, damn.
Do you remember your shock length yesterday?
No, I do not. But that I was going to mention that a critical thing that hardly anyone ever does is when you've assembled your shocks, go through, measure the. I'm going to show later anyway.
Take the spring retainer off. It's annoying building a kit, isn't it, with somebody that's built one or two before?
Well, we all know between us have built hundreds and hundreds, but probably. I'm not a Yakomo builder, so.
Buggies are, funnily enough, really quite similar at the moment, aren't they, from the big box brands?
Yep. Look at it. That feels really nice.
Butter smooth.
Now you'll note that if you put 5,000 weight oil on it, does not, it's smooth, but it's really slow.
That's for the skate park.
Yeah. And I remember when I did it yesterday, I thought, okay, this is a good one for the video. Yep. It's really easy. In my defence,
count your zeros.
That lettering is little.
That is little.
It's really little.
And you don't read Japanese.
No. That's 5 files away. Well, that's probably racist, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No, I think we've said worse than that.
Well, you're trying to learn the language. I don't think it's being racist. You're not mocking.
No, no. Where's our shock stand?
Do you need a shock stand?
Oh, no, I'll just wing it. We're good. We're good. I just won't do the...
I should have one. I'm sure
I know we've got one. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to wing it here and then I'll recheck it all later on.
Thanks, Dan.
I won't do
Dan
that.
had it.
Yeah. She's using to put scones on.
She has been. Putting lots of baked treats. Could be Danish today.
Oh.
You could do it a Danish.
Ooh. Is that a satisfying noise?
Not for me. I usually start to cringe when I hear that noise.
Yeah.
You don't want air in the shocks.
No.
And the more you do that, you turn it to champagne and it just takes longer to bleed itself out. I have to do it initially because there's a lot of space underneath the thing. Well, especially with the spacer.
Which needs to be filled up. So that's much better.
You like it?
Yeah, I'm liking that. And there hardly any bubblies.
Being an emulsion style shock, they're actually really easy to bleed.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. As opposed to, I think one of the most trickiest shocks I've built lately is the YZ870C re-release shocks. So it's an emulsion style. So, but it's got no bleed screw in the top. So there's no bladder and there's no bleed screw.
So there's nowhere for the oil to go.
No, so it's a very fine balance of actually getting all the oil out and letting air in.
Okay.
Whereas these ones, it's just literally usually two bleeds and they're done. Zero rebound, dead shock, happy to go. And easy to re-bleed during the day.
Yeah.
Keep a really consistent feeling.
There's a tiny bit of air in that, but I can live with that.
Well, the definition of emulsion is actually the mixing of oil, isn't it?
Mm.
In this case, we're mixing air. If you were doing a hollandaise or something, you might be emulsifying.
Now, is that going to fit there? It will stay there for a minute while I get this out.
Egg and butter.
You'll notice I've already got the bleed screw in there.
It's handy to actually tap that little thread.
That's exactly why I do it. I did that with all of them, screwed it in most of the way so it's ready to go.
Because it's not like a 45-degree angle, so it doesn't always come naturally. And when you're trying to bleed the shock and you've got oil coming out, I have seen people cross-thread them from
yeah, that's why I did it beforehand.
And it's this sort of experience that you and I would do natural, but maybe the first time kit builder. And that's
not looking too bad. I don't think we're going to get a lot come out when I do this. That was my experience with the others. Put it on. Again, you don't need to wrench on it. You've got the tool here to do the stuff from YOKOMO, but I don't want it massively tight.
No, they don't rattle loose.
So, and we're just
What are you
going
doing
to,
here?
we're just going to push that up to get any, there's a tiny bit, yay.
You do want something to come out, don't you?
Yeah.
Because if there's no oil coming out, then it's got air in there. So you're
now,
holding it compressed, doing the screw up.
Again, doesn't need to be massively tight.
No, it's not going to rattle loose, and it's not going to air in there.
And that's fine.
There's no rebound. It's not,
So
and by rebound, I mean like
it's not one. It's not one to come in and out. It just stays there. So I'm happy with that. Now we don't have much else to do on that.
You might want to take one of the rear ones apart and measure the length and show the punters at home.
Well,
measuring your shock length.
I'll do that
I'm not telling you how to suck eggs. Nice little verniers you got there. You don't have to use digital ones. You can use anything just with a lock stop, as long as it's the same front and rear.
Yeah, because it's not about the actual dimension as such. It's just that they're the same.
Left and right the same.
Yeah.
Especially on a 10 scale buggy, because you don't have droop screws. You are in fact creating a different axle height unknowingly.
Yeah. I don't know what you do, but
You do overall.
I do overall, and I push it inside the
Inside to inside.
inside the eyelets.
Measure the bottom of the O-ring to the.
Yeah, I do it this way because I know that's 93.5. It's scary how you and I do very similar things, even though we've developed. That's 93.5.
Is it? So you've nailed it.
I'm going to put that one aside and never ever look at it again.
Good.
Now I can put these back together.
And it does come along right. The parts tree does come with different spring retainers on the bottom and different eyelets on the parts sprue.
Yep.
So you can in fact change droop settings.
That's nice and squishy. That's just how I like it.
Boingy boingy. All new springs for this model too.
Are they?
Yep.
Well, it'd have to be because we've got different bore
13
shocks.
shocks, yeah.
We now have
4 complete
1, 2,
damping
3,
units.
4 shocks.
And you can celebrate. It's the end of the page.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you think that should be the end of this episode? Been going for about an hour.
I'm looking over there and it says we've been going for an hour. And to be honest, bolting the shocks on is not an exciting thing to look at for people.
No.
So
Generally not.
I may do that elsewhere.
So what's the next step anyway?
The next step is bolting all these on.
We've got just bolt the shocks on.
Yeah, and after that, there's other stuff we'll do. We'll call it there.
Call it done?
We'll call it there, and by the magic of video, by the time you come back to this...
And a fair bit of editing.
A lot of editing. and possibly a week or two in between because I don't have all the electronics for it yet. But nevertheless, we'll call it there. Next one, we'll finish it off. Someone's asked me to show how I cut the body out too. So
Yes.
I'll do that in the next video as well.
Yep.
So that'll give them a hint, although the way I do it is weird because you've seen me do it. But that's all right. I'm Tony from Hearns.
I'm Brett.
And we're done.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.